everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's Christina with the Mamathon Diaries. Doing a quick live just for a few minutes. I got an evening meeting with one of my favorite clients. But I wanted to go live for a little bit to share about what I posted earlier today. And if you missed what I posted about earlier today, you can feel free to go back. But best believe that this afternoon, for just a few minutes, you're going to get a full play-by-play. Okay, you'll get a full play-by-play about what I posted about. I was having a conversation with a client earlier this week, and hold on, I'm about to go live on Instagram. Responsibility and showing up for yours. So hey everybody, thanks for joining. We're about to hop into it. Oh, here we go. All righty, are we live? There we go. Hey everyone. All right, so I was having a conversation with one of my clients earlier this week, and the thematic behind the conversation was about us taking responsibility for ourselves, okay? How far we can go in our lives when we bet on us, okay? We bet on us. There's a whole myriad of ways that you can do this, okay? One way that we consider investing, okay? Y'all hear my kids. You think about investing, right? Where you take $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 or more, and you put it into the stock market, okay? But in that same breath, we as women who are growing, we as families, you know, we as partners and spouses and parents, we also have to be willing to take a bet, take a jump, and walk out to invest in ourselves in the same way. I'm not just talking about financially, right? I'm not just talking about working with a coach or buying a course, but I'm also talking about the beauty of betting on you. The beauty of betting on you. Hey, everybody. So if you're new here, if you just pulled up to the chat, I'm Christina Garrett. I'm a productivity coach for working moms, whether they are staying at home and creating their own thing, if they're working in the C-suite. I am very honored to have worked with thousands of women around the globe to help them get more done by strategically doing less, okay? I just celebrated my birthday yesterday, and so I figured what better way to walk into year 38 coming out swinging, okay? We're coming out swinging. And I'm saying all of this because I truly believe in my heart that we have to take a deeper level of responsibility for ourselves, okay? A deeper level of commitment to our process. And so last week, this week, we've been talking about the beauty of exiting that hustle energy, okay? The beauty of walking forward and trusting ourselves, trusting our intuition, praying about where we're going next, what we want to do next, considering all of our goals, okay? And really walking into that next step, that next level with commitment, with commitment. And so for just a few minutes today, I want to talk about taking responsibility for ourselves, okay? I did a reel this morning, and the thought behind it was this: are we okay with taking ownership of all of it? Taking ownership of all of it. In some places, in some spaces, we are okay with taking credit, taking responsibility for the good. Okay, we're okay with taking responsibility for the good things. But when things are not going the way we want them to, when life has taken a turn, when we're not sure if we're coming or going, when we are experiencing all of the nuances of life, grief and disappointment and failure and fear and all of this stuff, when we walk into these paths, are we okay even then with taking responsibility? You might not have caused it. You may not be responsible. Hey, Ashley, I know you are. Ashley said, in this season, I feel like I'm ready to own up to the good, the bad, and the ugly. In these seasons, we may not have been the cause of the loss, the cause of the pain, the cause of the destruction, the cause of the distraction. You may not have forced that person to respond in the way that they did. But in some of these situations, we have to be responsible for all of it. Even if I didn't cause it, I'm okay with being responsible for the other side. How I handle it now that I'm in this situation, and then what do I do about it? Okay. What do I do about it? Hold on. Naya, why don't you just wait a few minutes and I'll go out with you, okay? Why don't you put him in his cage? He's still a little excited. Champ, to your cage. Thank you. Sorry, guys, I have a dog. Hey, everyone. The moral of the story is, can I let this sit? Okay. Taking responsibility, taking ownership of the good, the bad, the indifferent, the process of all of this. If I tried and then failed and then refused to try again, can I take ownership of that? If they, whoever they is, politely said thank you, but no thank you to what you pitched or what you offered or to what you asked for, if they said no thank you, did you stop? Did you quit? If homeboy walked out and decided, I don't want to be married to you no more, I don't want to date you no more, okay, I'm only responsible for what I do once I have the situation, and then how do I respond going forward? My husband and I, we're going out of town this weekend, to speak for a Valentine's Gala. And the topic that we're going to be discussing while we're there is centered around, the topic is, what's love got to do with it? Okay. And so my husband and I were talking through what we were going to share and all that jazz, and really analyzing the difference between sacrifice and submission. Okay. And the beauty of defining what sacrifice looks like for you as a person and what a submission look like, especially since submission in marriage and in the church and in the Black community is viewed as something toxic or below or all this kind of stuff. And so we started talking about how to grow a healthy marriage, a healthy relationship. Are we willing to do the work? Am I willing to take responsibility for the lens in which I view other people, certain situations, these circumstances to which I'm putting myself out here for? Am I willing to take ownership? You might not have forced yourself to go through whatever the situation was, but am I willing to be responsible for my healing process? I will. I got lots of clients, right? Women who I work with who are therapists, psychologists, who support women just like us. Are we willing to go find these people? I have folks in my life, clients of mine, of course, but other folks in my life whose lives are being changed through the empowerment swag, right? Where they decided, I know I'm not operating at my optimum. I'm going to take responsibility for where I am, and I'm going to go get support. And then their lives are being transformed through their yes. But at a certain point, we have to say to ourselves, hey, Janisha, at a certain point, we must say to ourselves, this isn't working. And because this isn't working, I'm determined to use everything within my power to go and create a different result. There is something called the default future. I was sharing this with one of our ladies this week. The default future is when, if you change nothing about your life, okay? If you change nothing about your life, you keep everything going exactly like you're winging it, inconsistent, you name it. If you don't change anything at all about your life, what will be the result? How will you change? How will you elevate? How will you make moves to help push you in the right direction? Okay? This is the default future. This is if I don't change anything. But there's something inside of you right now in this moment that is saying, I know I can do better than my default future. I know that I can show up more. I can deliver more. I can optimize my potential by exiting my default future. I know for a fact I'm better than this. I know for a fact I can show up stronger. I know for a fact that even though I got the no here, this is not my eternal verdict. I'm a firm believer that you have to own how you communicate. You have to own why are things not working. You have to own up to the good, the bad, and the ugly, like my client Ashley said. Taking responsibility for where I am in my life, owning it, embracing it, being all right with this is uncomfortable, but this is where I am right now. What part did I play in this? What part did I play? Can we embrace that? So for a few minutes, we're going to go through 3 things, okay? 3 things that we can embrace as we take ownership. All right. As we walk forward to be the best version of ourselves in 2023, as we show up more consistently, as we try to manage our homes and our families well, as we try to love our kids better, not yell and holler, be a good example for them about what's possible. I want to be an example to my children, not just outside looking in, but even when we're here at home. Loving, embracing, and seeing them for who they are. Okay. So I got to take ownership of that too. I can very strategically remember a time my kids were smaller. Maybe they were 5 and 7 or something like that. They're going to and fro, hollering up and down the hallway. Okay. I'm talking about yelling at each other, slamming doors, total elephants. Okay, let me just clarify. My kids are really amazing, but they can be elephants. All right. So I holler down the hallway. What is wrong with y'all? Why y'all acting like that? And the Holy Spirit said to me clear as day, they're acting like you do. If you yell down the hallway, if you carry on, if you get loud, if you do all these things, this is the example that you're giving to them. This is what I'm displaying to you, okay? So I had to take ownership, responsibility of the example I was giving to my babies so that I could do better. Yeah, we want to do better. So number 1, take responsibility for it all, okay? A lot of times we want to take ownership of the good, of the testimony, of the next open door, of all the greatness. But what we don't want to do is take responsibility for when things are a little haywire. Okay. We may say, wow, look at this. This is so incredible. I'm walking into my new season, all of that. All right. We want to do all of these things. And so as we do them, we our contribution to the good. Okay. But when the kids are running back and forth and they've lost their minds, when your husband is acting like you never do nothing for him, right? Like, you know how we are. Well, why is he acting like that? Like, I just don't understand. And the truth of the matter is, maybe there's some areas where you dropped the ball. So we take credit for all of the good, but maybe some of the bad stuff we don't take credit for. When your business is killing it and you're showing up and doing all the things, we take credit for that. But then when you're inconsistent, right? When you don't show up like you should, when you don't require more, hey, Adrian, when you don't require more of yourself or others, then it's other people's fault that you don't have what you need. Some of us, we're not willing to do what other people are willing to do in order to win. We're not willing to do what other people are willing to do. You see them coming out on top. You see them showing up. You see the fruits of their labor paying off. And we want to take responsibility for the positive. But baby, this negative, that's their fault over there. I don't want to own that. That's uncomfortable. Sitting with that feeling, with that emotion. We don't want to sit with that. We don't want to sit with, this is not working out the way I planned. It's my fault. We don't want to sit with, my kids are doing the most. It's my fault. Like, I'm the one letting y'all Netflix and chill and sit on your behinds instead of requiring, good afternoon, requiring from them to help and support and create a family structure that works. We don't want to take responsibility for if we are showing up and delivering and we have a plethora of opportunities. We only want to take responsibility for the good stuff, not necessarily the things that we have to put our work in for. Okay. So number one, we're going to commit to taking responsibility for all of it. Okay. The good stuff and even the stuff that's not so good. I'm willing to own it all. Okay. Number two, in taking responsibility, we have to forgive other people for the yes we gave them. Now, part of the Mamathon Pillars of Productivity framework, okay, part of our framework is learning to delegate, right? Like, we all know we don't want to do all the things, have to, spend all our energy and our time flittering all over the place trying to be I'm every woman. Nobody has time for that. Y'all already know what we talk about, okay? But in learning to delegate, we have to remember that delegating takes time, it takes training, and it takes trust, okay? It takes time to undo all of the yeses that we gave other people. It takes time for us to let that go. Some of us have been I'm every woman, superstar, giving it all for the last 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Like, I blinked the other day and I told my husband, I said, babe, we've been married almost 17 years. Like, that's a long time. Now, imagine if there were certain yeses I had been giving this entire time. And then I realized I had an awakening that this was no longer serving me in the best way. Okay. So I decide I no longer want to wash the dishes. I don't know. But what if I've been committed to being this person all this time and I never taught anyone else in my family or in my house to do this or to support in this way? If I've been taking ownership of that in a negative way for the last decade of my life, it's going to be a rude awakening to the people who love me that now I feel like I'm changing. I feel like I'm different now. Women come to the conference October 27th through the 29th. They come to the conference and they leave changed in a good way, right? But then you still got to go back home to your family and bring the change that you're learning to them. That in and of itself can be a challenge because all this time they've been used to you being this person. And now all of a sudden you don't want to be this person anymore. What do you mean? What do you mean you don't want to take care of this for me? What do you mean you want to do it a different way? What do you mean that you want to start this business, start this side hustle, do this idea, not be up underneath us constantly taking care of our every woe? Some of us, like, we're literally waiting. We're like literally waiting for our families to come up with things for us to do. Ask me how I know, because I've been that person. Now, 2023, Christina, and what I coach y'all on, it's like, oh, we never just sit around and wait. But it is up to you to communicate the difference in who you are to the people you love. That's up to you. So all of this time, they've been rocking with you and supporting you as you were this person. And now you no longer want to be this person. Right? No, now you don't want to be this person anymore. So now we have to be okay with the transition. and becoming somebody new. We have to forgive them because they took our yes and ran with it. I'm happy to do this. I'm willing to do this. I'll be that person. I'll say yes. And now we have to forgive ourselves, and then we have to forgive other people because they ran with the yes we gave them. They ran with our lack of boundaries. They ran with us putting ourselves last because it benefits them. Even if they're not trying to be manipulative or any of that, we still gave them that yes. We did. So now we have to forgive them as we undo that. Okay. All right. So number one, take responsibility for it all. When your life is going good, when your life is not going so good, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to say, I am the person that if things go right or if things go wrong, it's on me. Okay. And yes, we have a partner that we're honored to walk this life with. Yes, we have children who are adding to our legacy. Yes, we may have a job or, ministry, all these other things. But ultimately, when I stand before God at the end of my life, after my life has ended, it's just going to be me. So I have to take ownership of where my life is going, where it's steering to, what I'm aiming for. I have to take ownership. So I'm willing, like Ashley said, to own up to the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm willing to take responsibility for the direction where my life is going. If it's not working like you want it to work, what are you willing to do to fix it? Are you willing to commit to your process? Are you willing to commit to the dream? Are you willing to commit to your vision and what you see? I'm in this thing. Last week, we talked about exiting hustle energy and being committed to our process. And I was like, y'all, I'm all up in this thing. Like, I'm not about to quit and leave and go do anything else. Like, this is my life's work. The Mamathon Conference is going into year 8. 8 years? What? Committed to this process. I'm committed to coaching y'all. When you come to the awareness that you need some extra support, like, we're all in this thing. I'm committed to the process. I'm committed to Mamathon being the go-to hub, right? The go-to hub for women who are building big goals so that we have no excuses. I'm committed, right? But here's what I cannot do. I cannot make you be committed. Thank you, Felicia. I cannot make you be committed. See, I'm committed to showing up here. If you go to the Mamathon page, right, and you just scan through videos, there are 10 years, maybe not 10, 8, at least 8 years of live videos that you could go back through. And I'm talking about being married and loving your life. Y'all can see the transition of the conference. You can see all of these different growth processes that we've done over the last 8 years, at least 8. It's been 8 years since our last conference, since our first conference, right? Thank you, Janisha. Adrian says she does that regularly, right? There are 8 years at least, probably 9. About 9 years worth of content on the Mamathon page. I told them the other day, I said, we did not start Mamathon because we were bored during the pandemic. Okay. This is not a fad. This is not something that we just picked up and ran with. This isn't something like, oh yeah, you know what? Moms are at home with their kids during the pandemic. Let's talk about self-care. No, we've been doing this thing for a decade. Before therapy and taking care of yourself and soft life vibes was a thing. People were looking at me like I was crazy because I was like, you do not have to like being a mom every day. Because I had 3 toddlers, 2 and under. And my edges were gone. Okay? I was exhausted. And I had to pull myself out of the muck and the mire, out of the mud. Pull myself out of the mud. Adrian said, since you prayed that prayer over your husband, that was 2016, sis. That's when we went like viral. It was like, there were a couple folk there before then. I had the honor of talking to a sister a couple days ago, and she found us the same way. She was like, oh, snap, like I've been following you for like 8 years now. And now I'm ready to talk about coaching. Because before she was single, no kids. So now she's like, now I got a husband. Now I got a whole adorable baby. I saw the baby on the Zoom. The baby's so cute. Felicia said, I truly remember that. We've been true to this thing, right? I was talking to, and we're going to have her on the platform soon. Excuse me. She has a marketing agency, but she is the executive producer of Essence Fest, right? Like, so lit. And so she and I have been talking about productivity and Black women wellness and all this stuff. And I said, we got to have you on the platform soon, because now this has become a buzzword. Now it's become like this popping, oh yeah, take care of yourself, girl, soft life. If it costs me my peace, I don't want it. This whole thing. When most of us think about productivity, we're thinking about meal plans and cleaning schedules. As far as I'm concerned, if you don't have nothing else to do, you can clean your own house. In this current phase in my life, I'm like, who wants to walk on a journey to go to the next level? Like, for real, for real. Like, you're invested in this thing. I am invested. I am committed to the process. I sent an email out to a few select ladies today. And I was like, listen, if you want to do 3 months of coaching instead of 6, like, tell me now. My goal is to coach as much of our tribe as possible before the end of the summer. Because at that time, we're taking it up a notch. Go to your cage. Sit down. Up a notch. Everything up a notch. Everything turning up the heat. Okay? And so it's not just for the women who are like, oh, I want a meal prep for my kids. Why are we meal prepping? Why do we need more time? It's because there's something in here and in here that the world needs to see, okay? So I got to take responsibility for when my life is going in the right way and when it's not. I have to be committed to my own process. I have to forgive other people because I told them yes when I didn't mean it. I told them they can have my time when I didn't mean it. I told them I was going to use my energy for this, and I didn't mean it. Now that I'm older and wiser, I know better now, right? Now that I'm older and more mature, I know better. Now that I'm growing into myself, I know better. But I still have to forgive you, family, forgive you, job, forgive you, vision, because I said yes to low boundaries. I said yes to doing it all. I said yes to I got it. And now later I realized I didn't. Okay? So we take responsibility for all of it, the good and the bad. Number 2, we forgive other people for the yes we gave them. They took that yes and they ran with it, honey. They ran with that yes. So now we got to correct that. And last but not least, we have to commit to the process, okay? And what I was sharing earlier is the thematic, Christina, the head mamathoner, right? I, Christina, y'all's productivity coach, whether you work with me one-on-one yet or not, the door is open. But I am committed to the process, right? I tell women all the time, like, this is my life's work. Like, this is just what I do now. Mamathoning, productivity, helping y'all get y'all stuff done. It's just what I do. One of my good friends, she posted, she's like, you shouldn't need accountability. Yeah, you should. It's okay. It's okay for you to have someone that holds space for you and make sure that you become who you wanted to become. If you're not getting results out of it, what are we doing this for, as far as I'm concerned? Okay. But I can be so committed to you. I can be excited about your potential. I'm going to go meet with one of my clients in just a little while. She's a politician. She's super lit. Okay. She's like phenomenal. Okay. Francis says we all need it. Iron sharpens iron. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to meet one of my clients. She is one of our local politicians, and she's phenomenal. And I told her, I was like, you know, when you see yourself in the future, what do you see? And we started to craft together her plan. Hey, Camry. We started to craft together her plan and how we're going to move from here to here. And listen, when you are the head in the room, like when you create a room or a table and you invite other people to the table, that shifts the leadership, that shifts the authority. You become the authoritative voice. We're going through all of this stuff, right? We're working through all of it because she is committed to her process. But it's my job as her coach to look at the eagle eye view in a way and say, listen, I see that this is a possibility. What are your thoughts? Like, do you see it like this? Can you see that? Hey, girl. Can you see this potential? I see this potential. When I look at you, I see this. I have another client. She works in like executive HR or something. But she's also a veteran. And so we were talking through her process also. And I'm like, when I see you, this is what I see. Not you writing your book to bless one person. Like, yes, that's going to happen. So, but when I see you and I hear you talk about what you have a passion about, I see it on this scale. I see you hosting events for teen girls to show them how to love themselves. I said, this is what I see. But I, the coach, or anybody that y'all learn from, don't have to be me, whoever you choose, whoever is your person, right? One of my ladies was watching. She emailed me back. She was like, you are our person. So I get to teach and coach their team, okay? I was like, listen, I can be committed to your process, but no one, y'all know where I'm going. Nobody can be more committed to your process and your results than you. This is your life. It's yours. It's your life. Nobody can be more passionate. I'm going to bring the energy every time. I'm going to bring the excitement. Girl, do you see this? When we're coaching and we're working, I'm like, listen, read me your receipts. Tell me why you that chick, right? I got all my reasons. But no one can be more committed to your outcome than you. This is your life, your energy, your family, your vision that keeps you up at night and wakes you up early in the morning because you see it so clear as day. I was telling my event planner, and I said this the other day. I was telling my event planner a couple of years ago when we hosted the conference during the pandemic, I was her only client who didn't cancel. We just reduced the numbers, right? In the midst of all of that, she was like, listen, I see this small group of women. She said, I just feel like we had about 30 ladies there. She said, I think this is your ideal tribe. I said, I'm not saying you're wrong. I said, but when I think of Momathon and the conference, I see 500 moms, 1,000 moms who love God and love their families and are committed to the process. And I just need to learn how to do it better. I just need to learn how to work my system. I just need to make sure that I know how to rinse and repeat when I do have an off day or an off season, that I know how to get back to those same results. I was like, I said, this is what I see. And because I'm the visionary, I'm committed to what I see. You guys can go back and look back 9 years worth of Facebook Lives, because we didn't just start this during the pandemic because we were bored. We didn't just show up to this thing late to the chat. We are the initiator of the chat. I have other ladies in my tribe who like, listen, oh, we do productivity. Oh, we do self-care. Bet. Work that thing, sis. I might do it a little bit differently. My goal is to help you take better care of yourself and organize your life so you can go do epic stuff. That's my goal, right? Nobody can be more committed to your process than you. Y'all hear me today? Take responsibility, take ownership of if it's right or if it's wrong, if it's working, if it's not working. Do y'all know how many times I pitched Essence Magazine? I had to take ownership. The pitch wasn't good. It did not require a response. I can let that sit. I tell this story all the time. I can take responsibility for that. The pitch must not have been good. I had to learn how to pitch better. I had to learn how to grab attention and get a response. Janice says, nobody can be more committed to my process than me. We want other people, the big ask, Adrienne, yes. We want other people to want it more than us and then pull us to the result. I'm sorry. This is your life. We want other people to bet harder on us. Okay. So then we start to see the posts floating around Facebook. My price is the price. Okay. We see posts floating around Facebook. You know, why don't people support? We start to see the things popping up on the internet. Y'all know the posts, don't you? Drop an emoji in the chat if you know the post. Okay. Y'all know the ones. I refuse. We're not debating. We're not going back and forth. You can choose 3 months coaching, 6 months coaching. If you don't want to do either, or you're not open to it, but there were certain ways that I bet on myself this year. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There were certain ways that I bet on myself this year. That if I can do it, I know everybody can. I'm not going to, somebody lean in for this. I am not going to lower down, right? I'm not going to lower down in a way to support lack of belief. Okay? So we all have a way that it's like, listen, I believe in myself and my own ability to create different results. Okay? I believe in that. I believe in my own ability to create opportunity. There are opportunities all around me. I shared this the other day. I was in, one of the things I always say is that there's open doors everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I meet someone that helps to push me to the next level. Everywhere I go. I might have on my Mamathon t-shirt. I might see a fly woman who looks like I should know her. I'm like, excuse me, ma'am, you are so fabulous. Who are you? Who are you? And I happened to do this with a lady in the grocery store. I said, excuse me, what do you do? We just get to talking about coffee and stuff because I could tell she was on her way to work. She said, oh, I'm a judge here. I said, what? I said, what a cool job. She said, well, what do you do? I'm in sweats and like, you know, almost looking like a dude, but y'all know I know how to keep it cute. And she said, well, what do you do? I said, I'm a productivity coach for working moms. She said, oh, that's the cool job. And I was like, well, you know, I enjoy it. I was like, I'm a mom of 5. I was like, they make my job good, make me good at my job. And so we exchanged information. She said, you got a card? Because I know people that need that. I was like, sure. And we exchanged information. We're going to lunch in a couple weeks. The thought pattern is, like Camry said, we can't wait on somebody to come and save us. And simultaneously, like Portia said, we're creating these connections. But am I waiting on somebody else to do it for me? I'm literally waiting on somebody else to bet on me. So there's a young lady, she reached out to me for coaching, Portia. And she was like, listen, this is what my situation is. I said, well, listen, here's what we're going to do. Something that I do with every single client now. Listen, you have met me. You understand that I'm great, right? I'm fun. I'm like the best coach ever. I'm just so much fun. I'm also going to challenge you, but I'm so much fun. So I was like, listen, you know who I am. All the things that we do in the Mamathon community and what we bring to the table. I said, but your husband doesn't. So you're going to get off this live or get off the Zoom and try to tell him about this lady that makes you so excited and makes you want to be the best version of yourself. You're going to go and try to tell him, and this applies to any dream, any course, any mastermind, any coach. I think I'm talking mostly to mom entrepreneurs today. Any situation where you want to invest and bet on yourself. I said, but what you're going to have to do is have it laid out for him about why this is advantageous to both you as a person, but also to your family. Why is this beneficial? And so we went through 4 or 5 ways that coaching was going to be beneficial, not just for her, but also to her husband. Because if you're able to delegate and you're very focused and there's a different version of me that my husband gets now than the one that was tired and had twins and looked like she had been hit with a bag of nickels. This version of Christina, this one, is completely different than what my husband had circa 2013. I'm a different person. And I get to talking about like conference stuff and what we're doing and and he's like, I love seeing your eyes light up. He said, because for a long while, it went away. Camry, a bag of nickels, sis. You're doing so good postpartum. This was not me. Okay, it was just not me. I was struggling. Okay. Here's the thought pattern behind all of this. The entire family benefits when you grow, when you feel fulfilled, when you feel joy. You're not mad at your family now for using dishes. For doing like the simple stuff. Is that Cheerios on the floor and you like flip the table? Because you have nothing else to be passionate about but the chores being undone. Okay, we're trying to shift the perspective. So I was talking to her about how do you lay it out to your husband how beneficial this is going to be. Because if you're not doing all the things and you're not frustrated and you're not all of this, then you got more energy and joy for other things. Read between the lines. Husband is like, wait, I'm going to get more love from my spouse? Sign me up. Sign me up. You're going to be less mad? Sign us up. You ain't going to be looking crazy like you were looking? I'm not going to be your only sounding board for all of this stuff. Sign me up, right? But no one can be more committed to your process than you. Nobody can be more committed to your family, to your marriage, to your home, to your dreams. And we really want other people to be that way. We really do. We really want other people to jump in and say, listen, let me share. Let me send this to people. Let me for something that hasn't even started, that there is no actual tangible proof that it even exists other than what you said you were about to do. I want to say it was Eric Thomas. And he said people come up to him all the time. Man, I'm about to do this. Man, I'm creating this. Man, I'm about to such and such. David Shands with the podcast. Man, I'm gonna. Time out with the I'm gonnas. And we got to match that energy, like Adrian said. And even if nobody comes to match your energy, you are still on that fire. You are still excited and passionate about what you're building. You can see it when nobody else sees it. Like, I'm here for this. I'm here for it. This is my life we're talking about. This is my future. This is my family. Nobody else can care more about those 5 Garrett kids than me and my husband. And we looked at each other like, we're like, our niece is coming over to watch the kids tomorrow. And we're going out of town to speak. And we're going to be gone all weekend. And then he's preaching on Sunday. I was like, Garrett, look at us. And he was like, I said, we like traveling speakers. We laughed about it and then went back to planning what we're going to talk about. So we're doing it this week, and then again in the month of February, and then more stuff happening in March. Y'all, nobody can be more committed to your process than you. So I'm all in this thing. Camry, we doing it. You doing it. We're all in this thing together, right? Like I'm here looking at you, you looking at me. I'm championing for y'all, right? I want you to bet on yourself. I want you to be like, listen, I'm going to go and I need to learn. I'm going to get all this information because I'm determined to get a return on my investment, whatever that is. That could be 12-week year. Look at all these books behind me. You see all these books? Nobody can be more invested in your future than you. And then once you're all in, you can go and get the resources you need to produce the result, whatever that is. Okay. And so as I shift this year, as I show up in different ways this year, as we plan for the Mamathon conference, like lit is on the way. I'm like, so excited. As we work on and plan all of this amazingness, I'm excited to support as many of you guys who want it, right? So you're like, Dad, Christina, I see you. You're a homeschooling mom. You got all these doggone kids, got a pastor husband that you support. You're still showing up consistently. You are producing, like they can Google you, right? Like I'm not like a stranger. They can research me on the internet and see that we've been consistent with this thing. Conferences, podcasts, summits, Essence Magazine, Forbes, Red Table Talk, Washington Post, many universities around the country. Okay, we have a phenomenal community of boss women just like you, right? So in addition to the conference, October 27th through the 29th in Atlanta, I want to open up the doors if you want coaching support. Okay, if you feel like you can go back through the 9 years of Facebook Lives and you will tie together, right? You can pull pieces here and pieces there and pieces there to help create the future that you want and exit your default future, okay? The default future is what's going to happen if you change nothing, all right? But if you want to have someone that fine-tunes this message and this content and the plan to fit your life and your family, then I'm your person. Okay. So we can work together for 12 weeks. We can work together for 6 months. Okay. But the plan is that we're committed to your plan. The plan is that we're all in for what you want, for what you said is valuable to you, to your family, to your future. I'm committed, right? But then I want to work with ladies who are as committed as I am to this process. All right. I want to see more women showing up who are going to be thought leaders. I want to see more women showing up who know how to pitch well and show up like they're supposed to and fine tune the message. So every time you show up to talk to your people, they feel like you're in their house. One of my ladies commented on my reel earlier. She said, you must be bugging my phone. I'm committed to knowing you guys, right? All in this thing together. And so for me, as I develop Mamathon to the next level, it's crucial for me to hear from you guys, right? What your struggles are, because the conference is fine-tuned to your needs. Most of us have kids still in school, right? Most of us have a bunch of children up in the house, and we're trying to figure out how do we balance well. But beyond that, as we plan and cultivate this space to be exactly what you need it to be, right? If you want coaching support as we manage that, then I want you to holler at me, okay? Y'all know where the DM button is because y'all use it all the time. If you want to walk into a 3-month, okay, or 6-month, I'm in this thing with you, committed to the process, okay? So I got to go, guys. I'm meeting my client in about 20 minutes, and we're going to go and get late day coffee and just breathe and work on her strategy. But if you're next, If you got next, and I want you to hit my DMs, okay? I love you guys so much. Thank y'all for hanging out with me for this period of time. Tomorrow's Friday. We're going to be traveling, but not till later in the day. So I'll try to go live early on. Okay? Thank y'all for being here, and I look forward to talking to y'all in Messenger. All right? Good night. Carrie said, I got neck. Girl, come on. Love y'all.